couple things first. Obviously, a disappointing loss. All the things that were important or are important to winning, we didn't do a good enough job with, and that starts with me. They were better on third downs. They won the turnover battle. They won the kicking battle. And so now we have a short week to digest it. You can't spit it out. You got to swallow it, and that starts with every one of us. So, any questions?
Sean, first thing, just quick. Is there anything you know about Pat Bryant that you can?
He's got movement. That's encouraging. I'll get an update here, probably in the next 15 minutes. But he was moving his hands and his legs. So, as we know more, we'll let you know.
And then, just from a bigger picture, it's the first time you've lost in 3 months. When you talk to the team after the game, is it about?
Well, there was one message, and look, I think I said to him, one of the things you managed to do each week is get on to the next challenge. In other words, digest the win. And so I think the same thing has to apply, especially on a short week like this. You've shown the ability to digest the game before and then get on to the next challenge, and you have to do the same, after a tough loss.
Coach, to your left, on the defensive side, gave up a season-high 34 points. What was going on? What were they doing?
The number one thing, I don't know what the third down numbers were, but I know they weren't good.
Offensively, you had some explosiveness at times. What do you look back, though, at, was it just the inconsistencies? Obviously, had 2 turnovers that didn't help, and then that trick play didn't
turnovers.
Turn out.
Look, when we ran it well, we ran it in the nickel. We had the fumble, we had the interception. Not enough to match what they were doing.
Sean, if you could just talk about Trevor Lawrence's game, and even though you had 5 sacks, did you think he had too much time to throw at times?
Look, he played a really good game, and so you can try to pin that down on. I'm sure we're going to look at the tape. We missed a lot of tackles in space. There was a lot of yards after the catch that showed up. That was evident. So. We'll look at it all, but we're going to have a quick week. We're going to be on to Kansas City like ASAP. So that's just how it is with this quick turnaround.
You mentioned the tackles. It feels like just a few more breakdowns kind of in the defensive passing game, recently. Is that an area of concern? What's your concern?
Well, obviously, look, we'll look at the tape and sort through it. But, I think they certainly threw with more efficiency tonight than we did.
Sean, mechanically, when it comes to missed tackles, in general, what's your observation about what goes wrong?
It hadn't been a problem. I mean, look, it reared its head tonight, though, so we've got to look at it. There were space plays, and, we just have to be better.
Sean, straight back, I think there were 6 pass plays over 20 yards, which is the most you've allowed all year, and 4 or 5 touchdowns in the red zone. Do you chalk that up as an anomaly, or is it a concern? How do you?
Well, it better be. I said this to the team. I said, part of this process is not fooling ourselves. They beat us tonight. They beat us good in all 3 areas, and it starts with me. And so, even though that hurts going down, you can't spit it out. You have to swallow it. That's the truth. They beat us in all 3 areas. We got to coach better. We got to look at what we're doing. We got to make sure we're not doing too much, and we've got to do that all in a quick turnaround. So that's kind of how I saw that game.